Okay, hi, this video will be very short since I'm currently working on a different video, but Hypixel decided to update and let master stars be applied to dungeon equipment. So basically, I just recalculated what the optimal dungeon equipment setups were and threw together a short video with recycled background footage and everything, because I just want to inform you guys what the best setup is without having to make an entire new video. Very brief discussion on what I actually calculated. So I calculated damage with Terminator with both G-Drag and E-Drag, and both of those using both CC tunings and no CC tunings. E-Drag calculations were done against an end mob for the 200% additive damage perk. I used max MP, maxed collections for the 1 and G-Drag's gold collection perk, Dom 10, and pretty much everything else was my own stats, which are close to max for the specific test. I calculated damage with no blessings, no rag axe, but Legion 5 and tier 7 master skull. I took the average amount of overload damage as a multiplier on the total damage given by this formula where phi is the average damage per hit due to overload. Yes, I used phi as a variable, cry about it. The reason I did the calculations like this is because it's very easy to extrapolate the data for a maxed player or a close to maxed player for the specific calculation to pretty much all dungeon players, meaning if you don't understand math, then that's perfectly fine. The best setup according to the calculations was Dom 10 Molten Necklace, 10 star SA Cloak, 10 star Adaptive Belt, and 10 star Soul Weaver Gloves. The clearing set is the same thing but with Gauntlet of Contagion because it's extremely easy to swap the one item out for boss. Please note that if you're doing M6 or F6, you want Gauntlet of Contagion for Terracottas, but you don't want it for Giants or Sedan. Also, if you have Dom 9, then Bone Necklace is better than Molten Necklace. These conclusions will generally apply to all top players since not only do we all have similar stats, but blessings increase the stats for the dungeon equipment much more than molten equipment. This means that later on in a run, your dungeon equipment will be much better than molten equipment is given by these tests. If you're lower level, then full dungeon equipment will almost certainly be the best for you since lower level players either lack more in stats than they do in additive buffs, or they don't have an E-Drag or G-Drag and should probably put their money elsewhere, and dungeon equipment is very cheap compared to Dom 10 equipment. I have not actually done a calculation explicitly for mage, but my estimations say the same conclusions most likely apply for a mage. TLDR, if you have Dom 10, use Molten Necklace and 3/4 dungeon equipment. If not, use all dungeon equipment. Swap to Gauntlet of Contagion for clear and only use Soul Weaver and boss. Final point, using all dungeon equipment makes you lose speed, and putting tunings on speed makes the DPS classes lose a lot of damage, since they're supposed to have tunings on crit chance. For this reason, you should use Max War Boots on clear, and you should probably use them for all of M7 boss except for P5 as well. DPS matters much less outside of P5, and in P5, drags already die enough so you can get away with just using a rogue sword and having like a little less speed. My calculations suggest a very low damage loss from this, which the dungeon equipment more than make up for. If you want, you can assign speed tuning since they're generally still better than molten pieces, although it's generally considered suboptimal. Anyways, that's all I had for today. Thanks for watching. See you guys sometime this December, hopefully. Peace out.